Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page, where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Like tonight's film, 1980's The Beast in Space, the Triple X version. And this was actually bought from the Severin website as part of their Severin sale some months back. But I don't see Severin on the actual DVD case for this one. Now, Severin sells the regular The Beast in Space, which actually has some very cool cover artwork, which has kind of this drawing, amazing drawing artwork. I guess like the original poster for The Beast in Space. But this one doesn't have Severin on it. Although it was purchased from the Severin website. So this is the Beast in Space Triple X version. Actually, I ordered the regular version, and this one came in the mail. And rather than return it, I said, hey, I'll definitely check it out, definitely enjoy it. There's the back of it right there. And it says, the sci-fi Euro sleaze classic just got explicitly sleazier. With explicitly with a underscore. So this is 1980, The Beast in Space. Now, I actually saw the original Beast in Space some years back, probably 5-6 years back. And so today I watched The Beast in Space, the Triple X version, and it seems, the difference with this one is that there are added scenes. Now, typically you'll have these Triple X versions, sometimes Synapse will release them or things like that, where you'll see it's just insert shots that were added to the film. A lot of Franco's films have those, and those were not the director's intentions, and I won't watch them. But this one's really interesting because some of the actors are in these extra shots. Notably, the main villain of the film are in these kind of extra shots. So there's just more to this film. And of course, there seem to be some insert shots in here as well, but not your typical type of insert shots for the hardcore versions. Much more elegantly put into the film. It's not hardcore in terms of seeing ejaculation and anal and things like that. Like if you look at they call her one they call her One Eye Thriller, a cruel picture with Christina Lindbergh. The hardcore version, I mean, that insert shot is hardcore, whereas this one you're just seeing intercourse. So let's get into this. This is the Triple X version of The Beast in Space, 1980. Now, The Beast in Space is it's just such an awesome, awesome movie because of its weird, just its weird atmosphere. This is a sci-fi movie existing in a sci-fi world, but very hazy, very weird. It has a foreign, vibe to it, a lower budget vibe to it, and it's peculiar and very sleazy. And the sets, it's like those sets that just kind of give it that different ambiance. The fact that these sets are kind of weird and lower budget, and it's just a really, really interesting world. In this particular world, we have a group of people that are on a mission, okay? Typically in their spacecraft, they're on a mission. But the interesting adventure along the way is that they wind up on another planet. One of the women is having these dreams or nightmares reoccurringly. They have this great kind of bar on one of the spacecraft where fights happen and girls are picked up and one night stands are started there. And it's this other planet as well, and the mixing of the dreams and nightmares of that one girl with reality, and this alternate planet that has a complex brain leading it all, Godhead, so to speak, leading it all, and the uniqueness of all of that, and the uniqueness of this world targeting your brain and pills to alter your brain and robots and animals. I'm going to leave it there. Now, I want to tell you that this movie stars Serpa Lane. Serpa Lane was in The Beast, and so this film is kind of almost, very inspired by The Beast, because now it's The Beast in Space. And so The Beast was a film that was essentially about bestiality, and so this film kind of takes it into space with a whole new story, a whole new worldview and reality. Let's start off with the music for the Beast in Space XXX version. I'm trying to see if it says anything about the music. Music by Pluto Kennedy. What a great first name for a film in space, huh? Pluto Kennedy. The music in this film and the sound design in this film are the atmosphere. They are the film. The music is very 70s, exotic space. At times, there were a lot of pieces that reminded me of the avant-garde score for Forbidden Planet, and you have this avant-garde, spacey sound, intergalactic score with electronics and synths, and then you have this insanely oppressive sound design for this film, where you have shrieks, distorted insanity and screams. And I mean, if you have your volume loud enough, this film will overwhelm your speakers and overwhelm your ears in the room that you are sitting in. So with the intergalactic music that is very late 70s and just weird and spacey and experimental a bit and synth driven, you also have this vicious sound design that is very dark and oppressive. So really, really interesting on the score and the sound design for this film. The movie is very just very off kilter in that beautiful way for those of us who like weird movies, low budget movies. It's very off kilter in that the way the actors interact with each other and just the sets and the wooded area. There's this woodsy area on this one planet, and there's this great interaction between these two gentlemen who are kind of enemies, and they have a lot of fights in this movie in the bar. But there's also this kind of teaming up that they do in a way, and just their relationship with each other throughout the entire film. And it climaxes at the end of the film. No pun intended with but these two guys, their relationship with each other is just the best. It's definitely played for laughs, and there's these crazy action fight sequences, and I found a lot of comic relief with these two guys who were fighting and just kind of enemies towards each other and towards and kind of interacting with the goal of the whole film, which was the one spaceship's mission. And there's kind of a hilarious ending to this film as well, with some great dialogue. This is a film that has, action scenes with laser beams and mysterious interplanetary areas, and of course space travel and space peril, space outfits. There's a lot of sleazy kind of sexploitation space films. They're some of my favorite films. I even reviewed one on this YouTube page called Spaced Out with the girl from Felicity. But there's just something about sexploitation in space that just really goes well together. Now, for this version, this version just has added scenes, it seems. For the entire film, it's just the regular film. So you're going to be a little shocked. You're going to go through a bunch of sex scenes, and it's the regular film. And the sex scenes, you're seeing full nudity from the women. You're not seeing anything from the men. The sex scenes are implied, but they're a little explicit. And this is in the regular film. And then there's like this one scene where this guy has his face in this girl's ass. which is like near the end, and you're just like, whoa, where the hell did that come from? But they're longer scenes, they're interesting, especially with the music and the sound design and just the aura of the whole film at large. Definitely a late night feel to the film. But the the heavy duty sex is really at the climax of the film, in the last 10 minutes of the movie, 15 minutes of the movie, and that's where the hardcore sections happen, is at the end of the film, which actually makes the film, to me, much more disturbing, because what was happening in the original film, in these sex scenes at the end of the film, is disturbing enough, and then this triple X version just makes it even more disturbing. But again, this triple X version just really adds, you're seeing penises going in, vaginas. You're not seeing any type of ejaculate or oral or anal or anything else like that. It's just, but it's not just this insert like really close up. It's actually like a person, so it kind of flows a little bit better. But this movie is really an anomaly because there's some really there's this awesome set in the one planet, and it's like psychedelic, because this movie has a vibe of psychedelic in here as well. But there's like some real kind of lava lamp walls, and with the surrealness of this film and the dream sequences and the nightmare sequences of the film, it really adds just to this whole unique off-kilter vibe to the Beast in Space. And what a climax to this film. I mean, it is filled to the brim with sexual situations, and it's horrifying. There is a bit of horror to this film. And there are, you have the girls are sexually attractive. You got girls in spacesuits and they're tight, and then they're naked, and the guys are very, very masculine and very a bit abrasive, and they're fighting, and they have ulterior motives, and so it's a really, really wild mashup of a film. And I would say you really aren't going to see anything like this if you like sleazy space films. Even just the original film doesn't have to be this triple X version. I mean, the original is sleazy enough. The triple X just adds in the last, like I said, 10 minutes of the film, 15 minutes of the film. And boy, what an ending. And we got robots running around. We have running sequences. We have alternate realities of the brain. That's what makes this movie really wild. While we have nightmares and dreams, we also have these ultimate, like, brain wave, brain portal realities within this film as well, which makes it very, very dense and unique and interesting. This is the Beast in Space Triple X version right here, folks, starring Serpa Lane from The Beast. But this goes for the Beast in Space, the regular version, and this hardcore version. Hopefully I gave you a little bit of perspective on it. And supposedly this version was unearthed in the basement of a condemned porno theater outside Bologna. This was the only complete hardcore print known to exist for this film. So straight from the print looks good. This is it, the Beast in Space Triple X version right here, folks. This is a wild, weird, erotic film. Thank you so much for watching the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page, where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more, like the Beast in Space Triple X version. Thank you so much, folks. Have a great night.